I I can't think of a day that we don't use our acting skills. Can you? Really? I was doing a campaign for McDonald's where I was this guy there was two of us, and my name was Ernie. I remember that. And
the other guy's name was Bert. I mean, like, my call was, I was needed for approximately 32 minutes of work, but I stayed the entire 5 hours so that I could stay there and watch every angle of that shoot so that I understood what people's functions were, how it operated. Like, I was just so fascinated by it. The Working Actor NYC, that's Patrick Richwood.
Benjamin Howes. Hi, Benjamin.
This episode of The Working Actor NYC may contain profanity and some adult concepts, so please use your discretion.
So today we're talking about ways in which one can use one's acting skills, and they may not be the ways that you think. I mean, there's an enormous world out there and ways in which that we can use our training and our skills, and we're going to dive into all of that.
I can't think of a day that we don't use our acting skills. Can you? Really?
We're all born naked and the rest is drag, is one way of looking at it. I mean, and
for you, definitely for you. See that face, ladies and gentlemen? That's all painted on. There's nothing there in real life.
So, of course, there are the traditional classic ways that we know about acting, using your acting. So let's start with some familiar territory. The theater. There are Broadway, Off-Broadway, national tours, regional theater, community theater, those the noble grind of 8 shows a week.
Well, Jen, I don't know about you, but I started with community theater in Burbank. Community theater, you're like excited to get those 7 shows or those 8, those 2 weekends, for 4 weekends in a row. It's like, oh my God, I'm a professional.
But I mean, professional or not, I mean, it is how many of us cut our teeth, got bitten by the bug. Yeah. Chris Pratt, big old Hollywood movie star, started in community theater in Hawaii.
My first professional thing was actually a little show touring schools. It was a beautiful little, actually a really beautiful little 7-person operetta about Lexington Green, the shot heard round the world, Paul Revere and all the. It's American history, John, and you wouldn't know anything about
I don't know anything about that.
You wouldn't. You were down under with the criminals. I mean, it was really beautiful. It was extraordinary for a school thing. We toured around schools. You got in the van.
I did. I built the set. Mine was dance in education. I was in a contemporary dance company for a year, and I spent most of the year touring Outback Australia in a van with a company of dancers, and we would set up our little 1-hour show in these remote classrooms all over Australia. So I've done my time in the van.
We've all done our time in the van.
But it's how we sort of get our feet wet and get maybe addicted to a little live applause. Of course, live applause is what's missing from the film television world. But within that world, you can use your acting skills all the way from being the star, the featured actor, the co-star with one line here, oh my God, he's running out the door, to the...
There's a house on fire down the street. Everybody's running towards it.
To the extra, to the background.
Yes, I was an extra. I've only been an extra once. It was a commercial. It was a SAG commercial. They said, we need punk rockers. I took a ball of rubber bands, loosened one, hung it on my ear, and went in there, and I did and they cast me, and then they upgraded me, and I was right next to Lou Reed, the famous musician. It was for yeah. It was him, and they upgraded me, so I got my SAG card from my very first on the set.
Well, commercials, another whole avenue of acting that unscripted, sometimes scripted, unscripted, all sorts of commercial.
Oh my God, I can't even count all the commercials.
And that, I mean, in a way, it's tell me if this is true because you have so much experience with it. In a way, I think that I don't know if it's even true anymore. I'm sure it still exists. The network television commercial must still exist, but it's sort of a holy grail gig because they can pay and pay and pay, and then it gets renewed, and you get paid for another year, and then it gets renewed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
and also, it's like, is it a campaign? Is it 2? Is it 3? Is it a series of them? Is it a role? Like, for instance, like what's her name in the progressive commercials?
In the progressive commercials.
That girl's amazing. She's great. But it comes with its ups and downs. Like when she goes to do theater, she can't just disappear into whatever the role is. She can't. People think,
identifiable.
Flow,
Yeah. And I know that a lot of really successful commercial actors come from the improv and sketch comedy world. Is that how you came to commercials?
No, I came to commercials because I went onto a set as an extra. It was my very first extra job, and they upgraded me, and that was it. I got my SAG card.
You just reminded me, my very, very first commercial, I was a hand model in a pen commercial.
Hand models make a lot of money.
So that's the sort of the acting that we know, love, and recognize. Then there's the whole voice world. Like, there is a whole world of voice acting that I am really genuinely fascinated by. And it's kind of one of the reasons that I bought this microphone is because I'm dying to get into voiceover for commercials, for animation uses a lot of, obviously.
Yeah, you're born for that. I'd like to do that too. I did it a lot in the 90s. And the way I came to it was commercials. I was doing campaigns. I think I was doing a campaign for McDonald's, where I was this guy there was 2 of us, and my name was Ernie. I remember that. And
the other guy's name was Bert.
No, I can't remember what the other guy's name was, but my catchphrase was, "I'm all over it." And it was these dumb scenarios that we were always in, where I was always the one that got thrown under the bus. And it was really funny. And they ran, and people would be walking by me on the street going, "I'm all over it." And those ran for a long time. And we started doing radio spots to go with them. And that's how I got into voiceover. And then the voiceover department at my agency said, can we send you up for other things? I was like, yeah. And then I started doing voiceover radio.
Oh, wow. The voiceover world, I'm always sort of fascinated by people who have their closet set up as their little booth. There's something glamorous about that to me.
That's how come I'm always telling you, when young people say, like you do these talkbacks or whatever, and you have big groups of high school kids coming and to the show, and they're like, well, what's a good way to get? And I'm always like, well, I never got any training on auditions or how to build your audition song book or any of that. I just was always of the mind that the more in the world of it you can be, the better. So get on a set as an extra if you can, or get in a show and be in the ensemble, or get on around a show, whatever.
My way into TV world, was that my first? It might have been my very first TV job in America. I was a stand-in. Is that what you call it? Yeah.
A stand-in. Yeah.
For lighting? I wasn't. Yeah, for lighting. I wasn't an extra. I never appeared in the episode or whatever. Right. But they needed somebody to stand in for the featured actor so that they could get the lighting right and all the rest of it. My call was, I was needed for approximately 32 minutes of work, but I stayed the entire 5 hours so that I could stay there and watch every angle of that shoot, so that I understood what people's functions were, how it operated. Like, I was just so fascinated by it. The next sort of whole area that I want to talk about is the corporate corner, industrials, because I have certainly been in training videos. I did a training video for MasterCard in which I had to play this British manager whose employee was doing something sketchy. You know what I mean? And so it was a whole training video that MasterCard created for their in-house. Never got, televised, but this is also covers training films, HR simulations, standardized patients. Have you ever done the standardized patient thing?
No, but my friend Gerald has. My friend has. And it is a lot of work. But once you get the hang of it, then they'll keep calling you if you're good at it. And so it's a lot of work.
For our listeners who don't know what that is, you literally play a patient in order to train doctors how to deal with that particular ailment or injury or whatever.
Have you done it?
I haven't. I tried to get into it because I was like, I can totally do that. And it can be sort of a semi-regular little, pocket money.
Actually, it can be a regular. My friend has done it now several times, and he's just gotten in. He goes to Jersey City. I think he has to go from Brooklyn to Jersey. But the more you do it, the more you can start to it'll spread out, because other companies, you can do it for more than one company.
Other hospitals, yeah.
It can pay very well.
But you're still role playing. It's still acting. You still have
it's totally acting. You have to be like, I'm the guy, but you have to answer in a very scripted way.
There are specific scripts
super specific.
To
Yeah.
I haven't done standardized patient, but I have been the other side. I've been a doctor for WebMD, and they have these training videos for doctors on WebMD. So I've been a British doctor for WebMD, and I guess WebMD is in England because we both had to do it in British accents. So, but again, being shot in Jersey City.
Interesting.
British doctor and a British patient in Jersey City.
Australian guy doing a British doctor in Jersey City. We fly all flags. Like the United Nations of actors.
Corporate world also involves, there's a whole ton of actors in business training that is available, because
that's the thing that was big when I was coming up.
Yeah, it still exists, but I think it's scaled differently now. But there is certainly, they can hire actors to do team building, soft skills, preparation. I've had some experience in that world.
Well, and then there's the industrials, which I only ever did one in my whole career. I always try to get them. That's what everybody wanted to get, those industrials, because they paid really well, and they were like, you shot them in a weekend or something. And I did one, and it was when I was doing a show, and I tried to pretend like I was sick and go and do the industrial because it was such good pay. And they found out, and they docked me, and I was like, but they should have docked me. I was 20. What did I know? But it was whatever I was, 24. But it was those are the ones where you're like, Marge, have you seen my hemorrhoid cream? Or whatever. Not actually. So it's all in-house, and there's all these inside jokes, and yeah. Well, I'll look at the carburetor or whatever. I don't know. I can't.
The carburetor.
I got nothing.
But it can be lucrative, and yes, that is still 100% acting. The ones I have done were not like that. We had to take it very seriously, and the doctor one, the MasterCard industrial, they're training videos. You are actually trying to convince the employees that this is a real life situation that they have to deal with. Yeah.
There's two kinds. There's the training video, and then there's the entertainment one that's like for the big gatherings of employees where they bring the screen and they show a movie, and it's all inside jokes and the whole scenario, it's all script. Yeah. And they just love it, all those drunk people. Or a live show. There is Oh my God!
I did one of those in Australia. We did one for the employees of McDonald's. They booked out the entertainment center in Sydney, and we were a McDonald's show.
Yeah, singing and dancing McDonald's employees, right?
Sure.
That's an industrial. There is a documentary out there. It's on YouTube, and I wish I could think of the name of it. Benjamin, you are going to be like this. Everybody that's going to watch it is going to be like this. And it's all about this famous industrial that they did every year for, I want to say, bathtubs. It was a bathroom, if I'm not mistaken, it was like bathroom appliances. That was the company.
Well, moving into YouTube in the tech world, there are acting opportunities that have not existed before because of technology that now exists. Well, I guess sort of another techie one, but this is sort of more in sort of the video game world, as far as I'm aware, is motion capture. So the other one that I wanted to talk about was the way social media has created a whole new avenue of acting opportunities For commercials and advertisements, there's creator content and UGC, which is user generated content, in which actors get connected with brands and get paid to create little social media clips doing advertising. But because it's so, you sort of your own little advertising agency, and you get paid peanuts compared to what the agency gets paid. But
Frankie Grande. Frankie Grande.
Well, yes, Frankie became famous on social media. I don't know that he did UGC, but yes,
now he does, like he was just saying. He was talking yesterday, I think, about he started just tasting all the different tastes of Oreos, of like there's like 50 different kinds of Oreos online, as like, and I wonder if I'll have to ask him. I don't know if like Nabisco came to him and said, taste our Oreos, we'll pay you, or if he's just, that's what he does and people love it. But I'm sure he gets paid for like saying, hey, I like this is great,
Then they become brand deals, and that's using your sort of personal brand in order to sell stuff. But people who don't have any sort of name recognition or visibility can still make money doing UGC and creating content for brands. All right, now we're going to move into some, before we reveal our weirdest acting jobs to each other, there is, of course, the side hustle specials, where you can use your acting skills in all sorts of unusual ways. I don't know, Patrick, have you ever been a children's party clown?
Yes, I have.
Have you really?
Yes, I have.
Oh, wait, am I jumping one of your reveals?
No, I hadn't even thought of this. I was with a company, one of my the best side job I ever had is the source of this. But a friend of mine from this side job and I had these funny characters that we did. They were the quintessential awkward nerds, and her name was Blair Barfield, and my name was Claude Hopper, and we were horrible to be around, and deliciously horrible, because we were so awkward and awful. And we got hired separately to go and be at this party and be these people. And the theme was 50s or something, the 1950s. So we went 50s clothes, but we were these party clowns. I will say this: it wasn't for children.
Okay, sure.
It was for grown-ups. That's
a whole thing, like attending parties, corporate events, but even like weddings, and it's sort of like immersive theater in a way.
Which brings me to my very favorite of all favorite side jobs. It was a company. It was the only thing like this in existence. They invented this. It was called Le Clique, and Le Clique was this company, and they did these characters, and the whole thing was fantasy. And so they gave me an audition. So I went in and auditioned. I went to the Earl, the oldest waiter in the world. That job lasted me I had it for 3 years before I went out to LA to do the series. And I have to tell you, it was by far the best side job for an actor, because I was working with carnival folk and like.
But also, you're using your character skills, you're using your improv skills. Like, you're actually really getting paid to use your talents, use your skills, and to make people laugh.
Absolutely.
Show them a good time. I mean, what a great way to use your skills. Another one that I had not thought of but makes total sense to me is working at escape rooms, because people in escape rooms have to play characters. And one of our cast members he worked in escape rooms for a while, but he said the worst one was there was this haunted mansion scenario where people had to get their way through the escape room. He said the worst part about it was because he had this big long beard on. He was the haunted character talking about the history of the house and whatever. And when they got to the final room, there was a coffin in the room, and they had to figure out how to open the coffin. Unbeknownst to them, he was in the coffin. Like, after they got to a certain point in the escape rooms, he had to lock himself into the coffin, and then they had to sort of, figure out how to open the coffin. He would spring out and scare them or whatever. But of course, there were many times when they didn't figure out how to open the coffin, so he was just stuck in there. So after they left, he had to get released out of the coffin.
He couldn't unlock it from the inside?
I guess not. Not sophisticated enough at that escape room.
That's hilarious. That sounds like fun. I think that sounds, I mean, not the coffin part, but I think that
haunted houses. Like people, if somebody's got to do the scaring at the haunted house.
I did that. When I was in, but that was when I was in high school.
All right, the time has come. Come on, I want to hear some of your weirdest jobs. What's the weird job that you had that I wouldn't believe?
Oh God. Well, I was a street mime in New York City. I had to hand out flyers. Remember Crazy Eddie's? Do you remember that? That would be before you got there. There was this electronics place, and they say, do whatever you want, just hand out all these flyers, do not throw them away, you can't throw them away, and it was minimum wage or whatever. And so I would take one of them and write on the thing, last chance at show business, please take
like the brand is known for this crazy, this vocal thing, and here you are being a mime who couldn't use any of that.
No, well, because they weren't thinking this was a hire by the local store. The manager went, let's get a street mime. You know what I mean?
Mine is so boring. I'm going to be so boring compared to yours, but I did this one extraordinary corporate job where one of the largest accounting firms in the world, PwC, would do this enormous role-playing simulation so that we could train their new hire consultants how to interview people. And so we had to role play in these certain characters that worked for a call center that they were consulting for. But when the day started, it was this enormous exercise that we would do they would rent out an entire hotel in Orlando and we'd all fly down there. And at the beginning of the day, the kids wouldn't realize that this wasn't a legitimate consultancy, that this was a simulation. So they would come in all earnest and nervous and anxious to really show their stuff. And we're just these actors, I mean, it was so bizarre that, honey, that check cleared. But it was fascinating. I mean, you really did get to learn the skills that you have as an actor that regular people in life don't think about, and that are really useful. Like being able to put yourself on the same social level as somebody that you're talking to is a form of role playing. Mine are going to be so dull compared to yours. What's your next one?
I don't think that's dull. Weird job. I was the Macy's Easter Bunny. Whenever I pooped, it came out like raisins. They wanted a Macy's Easter Bunny for the New York Flower Show, and all of the allergens and the pollens and everything. So I was the Macy's Easter Bunny.
No. Just sneezing your way through the entire
I didn't have
day.
So I was just like this.
Oh, God.
I don't think they ever had an Easter Bunny again for that very reason.
Because of the allergens. So mine was also in sort of the children's world. I was a singing, dancing host for Warner Brothers 20-minute Warner Brothers character shows in shopping malls in Sydney over the school holidays. I would sing and dance, and we would get the Bugs Bunny on stage to do a song or to say how to go to teach the kids to dance. And it was a Batman and Robin show. There was they were off their time, but yeah, that's how I made a buck. All right, let's wrap it up. If you got one more juicy one that you want to share?
Yes, one time I was mistaken for a hustler.
Oh, this is a whole avenue. Okay, yes. This is using your acting skills, right, Patrick? Yes, not some of your other skills.
Yes. This was in the summer of like 1983 or something. It was the hottest summer they'd had on record in 20 years. You could either afford a pint of Haagen-Dazs, which was $2.50 for dinner, or the mystery chicken at the Chinese restaurant. And I was going to get my ice cream for dinner, and I got stopped by a guy who was like, "Hey, you working?" And I was like, "Are you interested?" And he was like, yeah, this is when I was really young and cute. And he was like, how much? And I was like, are you a cop? And he goes, no. And I go, okay, because you have to tell me if you're a cop. You know, like that's the law. He's like, no, I'm not a cop. And I'm like, well, what are you into? And we just had a whole conversation.
Oh my God.
Like, I gotta go.
No sale.
No, but I could have.
So really the takeaway for our listeners and viewers is that acting is storytelling, and it doesn't matter where you do it. The skills translate, the gigs vary, the stories are always worth the telling. So we would love to hear what your weirdo acting scenarios are. Let us drop it in the comments or tag us on our social and let us know how you've managed to use your acting skills to make a buck.
We use our acting skills all the time. And I just want to say also.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm so scared of this guy.
This is the real me. I just want to say, sometimes though, you have to be real.
You make me feel like a natural woman.
Well, that doesn't take much.